What up, chat? I'm back. I told y'all I was gonna be making these videos. Where we at? Where we at? I ain't done no donation list yet. We gotta do these donations.
Blood ain't from the hood. Hell no. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Fuck Chris Brown, nigga. Pull up in the hood right now, nigga. Catch your fade, nigga. Fuck, nigga. Frogs. You ain't from the hood. Holla so the blood starts swirling.
I gotta watch out for this mute thing. I gotta pay attention to the mute button. Sometimes I be forgetting to push the mute button off. Sometimes I be forgetting to push the mute button. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta deal with 2 or 3 seconds full of silence, or 2 or 3 minutes full of silence. But anyway, I'm back with another video. You know what I'm saying? If y'all keep up with these donations, I'm gonna keep up with these videos. I'm telling you, I can do 2 or 3 live videos a day. I can do different topics and things like that. But it's up to y'all to keep up with the donations and subscribe to my Patreon or something like that. You can hit the live button, donation button, or you can go to my Patreon, or you can go to my PayPal, or you can go to my Cash App. Y'all know the damn Cash App and the PayPal. I ain't got to post it, right? But let's get into the video, right? Now, y'all know I am a big Goldwater fan, right? Vote for Goldwater. Go, Goldwater. You know what I'm saying? I'm a history major, right? I like history. I like to find things, you know what I'm saying? Because history always repeats itself, right? No matter what, it ain't never been done up under the sun. And Barry Goldwater remind me of Donald Trump, because everything they try to do to Barry Goldwater, and everything they try to say about Barry Goldwater, they're saying about Donald Trump right now, right? Everything from the spying on the campaign, to the calling them mentally crazy, to the party turning on them, to the racists, to the Nazis, to the white supremacy, right? To everything that my boy Barry Goldwater went through, Donald Trump is going through right now. But it wasn't as vicious as it was back then, right? It wasn't as terrible as it was back then, right? Donald Trump, I don't know who got it worse, right? Donald Trump or Barry Goldwater. Because back then you can get away with a whole lot more stuff, right? Now you can get away with a lot of stuff too, but you got to have political power. You got to have DOJ on your side. You got to have the police on your side. You got to have the media on your side. You got to have a lot of shit on your side to get away with the stuff, right? That the Democrats getting away with right now, or to put something on a political opponent like the Democrats doing right now. But let's get into this video. Let's see, right, how Goldwater, right, is being, and this video is about communists, right? Matter of fact, let me talk about communists for a minute, right? This video is about communists, right? And this communist government that the Democrats are putting them on America, or they're trying to implement in America, has been going on for a long period of time. It ain't just started. This plan been in action since the 50s or the 60s, right? Now, we finna play some of this footage, right? Now, why is it that some of the same problems with the police, with racism, with voting, with fraud, with everything that's going on right now, as went on in the 60s, 50s, and stuff like that? Ain't nothing changed. People say it's changed, right? But it's only got worse. We have more freedom, right? Right? We have more freedoms and stuff like that back in in the 70s and 80s on some things, especially free speech, right? We had certain freedoms, right? But they're eliminating a lot of free speech, and they're eliminating a lot of rights and freedoms, right? And using socialism, right, which is a form of communism, to slide this shit on by. Right? You got these people openly saying that they're socialists, right? Which is really a communist, right? But we finna get into why Barry Goldwater was against socialism and why they were trying to warn you back in the 60s that this shit is coming. But we didn't listen. Y'all didn't listen. But you finna listen right now, tonight. Let's go. Oh, we gotta unmute it. We gotta unmute it. See what I'm saying? I be messing up. We gotta unmute it. Goldwater. We gotta unmute it. We got Reagan up in here. You know we got Reagan up in here. Ronald Reagan. Let's go.
Asked to speak to you. I asked to speak to you because I'm mad. I've known Barry Goldwater for a long time. When I hear people say he's impulsive and such nonsense, I boil over.
Ain't that what they say about Donald Trump? He's impulsive. You can't trust him. He act on emotion. He act out of anger. He's impulsive. Same thing they said about Donald Trump, they said about Goldwater, right? Because Goldwater was against communists, just like Donald Trump is against communism.
I'll say so that all American people can hear that the only enemy of peace in the world is communism.
Ain't that what Donald Trump be saying? Right? Ain't that what Donald Trump said? It's communism, but then you got Republican establishment, right, coming out speaking out against Donald Trump, just like you have Republican establishment coming out speaking out against Goldwater. The same thing they doing to Donald Trump, even the Republican Party, is the same thing they doing to Goldwater. I mean Goldwater, the same thing they doing to Donald Trump.
I don't know just why they wanted to call this a confession. I certainly don't feel guilty about being a Republican. I've always been a Republican. My father is, his father was. The whole family is a Republican family.
I'm Mrs. Hustler, and I have a question for Barry Goldwater. I'm concerned about communism and its spread throughout the world.
But you see how these videos was filmed over 60 years ago, right? 63, right? 63. Right? So that's what, 60 years ago. But the topic matters and the language, right? And the conversation can be used to this very day because ain't nothing changed. You got fake ass rhinos and you got people, parents, worried about communism, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want it to affect their kids. The same thing going on right now. Something have to get fixed because it's only getting worse.
I voted for Dwight Eisenhower the first time I ever voted. I voted for Nixon the last time. But when we come to Senator Goldwater, now it seems to me we're up against a very different kind of a man. This man scares me.
And I don't care whether it's red Chinese communism or Russian communism or whose communism it is, it's communism.
Right? They scared. Goldwater scared him because he was powerful, right? He went against the elite, right? He was talking about communism before Donald Trump because he was born before Donald Trump. But he don't care if it's Russian. He don't care if it's China, right? Why is it we going through the same thing with communism today? Russian and Chinese communism, right? We're going to war with them and both of them, Russia and China, right? Why is Goldwater got the same enemies as Donald Trump?
Let's look at the record of Lyndon Johnson. He was Bobby Baker's best friend.
This would be equivalent to Joe Biden and Barack Obama right now, right? But you see how mysteriously Goldwater opponents had money and finances through, let's say, mysterious means, right? Like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden had money through mysterious means, right? Because they was connected. How was that? Even he said right here, like, the money don't add up. How is he getting $14,000 salary, but he worth $14 million, right? Lyndon Johnson, all these fools are connected. Why is the same thing going on with money, right, and scandals in the Democratic Party now as it was going on in the 60s. Money that can't nobody account for, money that can't nobody explain, right? Money that was stolen. Huh? And then when Goldwater pointed out, is a conspiracy theory, just like Donald Trump.
LBJ once said, "Bobby Baker is my strong right arm, the last at night and the first one in the morning." The dark shadow of voting fraud, such as the infamous Box 13.
Oops. Disclaimer, right? We ain't talking about no boxes, right? We ain't talking about no voter boxes on here. Disclaimer, YouTube, right? We're talking about the 60s. We're not talking about Arizona right now. We're talking about the 60s and voter boxes.
Billy Sol Estes and his connections in high places. A television monopoly forced on the people of Austin.
Huh? What? What? A television monopoly? Who got a monopoly right now? The Democrats. How is it the same thing going on back then is going on right now? How the Democrats still got monopoly over social media and the television?
A $14 million personal fortune gained on an average government salary of $14,000 a year.
Huh? $14,000 a year, but he worth $14 million, right? And personal fortune. How was that?
Honestly, it just doesn't add up.
You know, as the years go by, they gain more ground all the time.
You overpromised to the American public what you could achieve in your first year in office, and how do you plan to course correct going forward?
Why are you such an optimist?
Gee, Dad, is all that true?
Yes, son, every bit of it.
Will you and Mother vote for me like that?
Look, I didn't overpromise, but I have probably outperformed what anybody thought would happen.
We won't. We can't, for your sake.
Put a man of honesty, integrity, and strength in the White House.
Vote Donald Trump, right? Now it's Goldwater. Back then it was Goldwater. Now it's Donald Trump. You can't let nobody in that sit up there and lie to you, talking about the economy is good and he overperformed. Is this overperforming, right? Is the high gas, right? The high price of energy, right? The supply chain, right? Shortages on baby formula, baby milk, baby aspirin, baby medicine, and everything, right? The border out of control, taxes up high, food up high. You mean this is overperforming, right? I hate to see what underperforming is if this is overperforming, right? But they say vote for Goldwater. Now it's vote for Trump.
Vote for Barry Goldwater. In your heart,
you know he's right.
And as time goes on, the matter is going to get much worse.
To be in every home library. It's entitled Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. Manning Johnson was a Negro.
They said that shit so smoothly back in the days, right? The Negro race. He was a Negro, right? They're not allowed to say that on TV no more. The Negro, right? We done went from Negroes, right, to black people, to to colored, to African American. Now I guess we non-binary or whatever the fuck we supposed to be, right? But we done had about 5 or 6 different names inside of America: black, African American, colored. I mean, you name it, we done it. We done non-white. You name it, we done had it, right? African American, right? Why we can't just be American, right? We got to be a different part of America. We got to be labeled from a whole nother country. You African American. Africa ain't got nothing to do with America, right? They'll ask African American. You Mexican American, right? You don't hear people calling people. I ain't gonna say that because they might say I'm scared to mention that race of people, right? Because they be blocking people, right? I was gonna mention a certain race, but I ain't mentioning they ass because they would get my ass taken off TV. They would get me taken off the network. Just downloading shit about that race get you taken off the network.
He was also a member of the Communist Party.
I would like Mr. Goldwater to tell me his thoughts and ideas on how we can stop the spread of communism throughout the world.
Whoa! I'm going to give you my idea on how we can keep these videos coming. Be like DP and donate some cash. Like when I finished, after 2 minutes, I probably overperformed. 2 minutes, I overperformed. Hell yeah. Because I'm usually doing 1.5. 2 minutes, I overperformed. You're lucky you got the 2 minutes with the 5 inches. Yeah, y'all want the keep the videos coming. We got to keep the donations coming. Be like DP and go ahead and leave a donation, right? But we got to get back at the Goldwater and Donald Trump because this is some crooked shit.
He joined the party as a young man because he honestly believed that the communists were trying to improve the conditions of his people.
Right? At that, what the Democratic Party say they're going to do, right? The communists is the Democratic Party, right? If you replace the communists with the Democratic Party, it would go with today's, everything he's saying, right? Everything he's saying, if you replace Democrat with communists, right? He's talking about the exact same people. It's no difference, right? On their actions, on their voting, on their policies, and what they do, and how they treat black people. It's no difference between a Democrat now and a communist then. So how you gonna tell me a Democrat is not a communist? I'm about to prove it to you in this video.
He was a dedicated communist. But after many years, Manning Johnson finally came to the realization that the communists weren't the least bit interested in improving the conditions of the Negro people.
Whoa! Huh? You have to wake up to realize this, right? I had to wake up and realize that the Democratic Party ain't gonna improve my condition, right? The Democratic Party ain't improved my condition in 42 years. The Republican Party can improve my condition in less than 4. Think about that. Think about that. The Democratic Party had 42 years, right, to improve my condition, right, to make me treat me fair, to make me understand, to make me love this country, to make me a patriot, right, to make me a true believer of the Democratic Party and democracy. They had 42 years of that, right? MAGA done it in 4. Think of this. All the shit I've been supposedly getting from the Democrats, all the love and the unity and the support, and you know what I'm saying, and the financial help and all that shit. All that shit I'm supposed to be getting, right? The friendship and the unity and all that shit. All that shit I'm supposed to be getting from the Democratic Party, right? In 42 years, I received all of it from the Republican Party in 4. You do the math. You do the math. Right? I met people like DP and 160 and Tom and Beth Roberts, right? And Sharon and Miss Coco, right? And Randy K. I done met so many people on this channel, right? I don't want to leave people out, you know what I'm saying? With Marco, I got to come off the top of the name, you know what I'm saying? Slaphead, I done met so many people. I shouldn't have said Slaphead because Slaphead is black, right? I shouldn't have said Miss Coco because Miss Coco is black. We talking about the white people I done met on here. My bad. My bad for the black people. I'm not mentioning no black people. I'm mentioning the white people because I probably would have knew the black people regardless, right? Because we niggas, right? You know, did I say niggas on here? Because we black, right? I would have met them anyway. But I have met and ran into a lot of white folks on here that I would have never met if I was a Democrat. Because guess what? If I was a Democrat, I would have still thought white people was racist. I would have still thought they was evil. I would have still thought they was conniving. I would have still thought they was out to get me, right? I would have thought they was the enemy. I would have thought all of that if I was a Democrat, right? Still, if I was a liberal, right? So it was no way I would have even tried to meet no white people, right? There's no way I would have tried to meet no white people because I was stuck, like, you know, and ain't no white people gonna fuck with me and I don't want to fuck with them. That's the mindset of most black Democrats that's liberals out here, right? It's not that they don't want to fuck with no white people, right? It's that they've been taught not to mess with white people, that white people are racist, they're going to take advantage of you and all that shit. So we never cross them lines. It's not until you get to dealing with white people and get to understanding white people and get to fucking with white people, right? And white people get to fucking with you, then you can understand, like, damn, this is a terrific country, right? This country is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, this country really loves black people. This country really loves niggas, right? I really do have opportunities, right? But if you stuck in a liberal state of mind, when you say, I ain't got no opportunities and these people don't want, you cut yourself short, right? You minimize what you can do, right? You can't expand because you so closed in a box, you think everything revolves around your thought process and what's been installed in you, right? You can't say, well, damn. I can talk to these white people. You have a whole different perspective, right? You love your country more when you love the people more, right? When I didn't love the people, I didn't give a fuck about the country, right? I didn't give a fuck who got shot on the corner, you know what I'm saying? When I was cripping and blooding, I didn't give a fuck who I poisoned when I was out there selling drugs, right? I didn't give a fuck who baby mama I had sex with when I was out there doing my thing. Now, right, that I love people, I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to see people homeless, right? I don't want to see my country go down. I don't want to see high taxes. I don't want to see racism. I don't want to see all that. But back in the days, I didn't give a fuck about none of it. I wanted to see it because that's what excited me. Racism, violence, gang banging, drug selling, all that, right? Being ignorant. Right? It's not until I got to loving people and got to talking to people and got to opening up to people, then I can say, you know what? This country is fucking great. I love this country. I didn't love this country at first. Now I know why people go to war. Now I know why people strap on that damn United States Marine Corps or that United States American whatever Army, Air Force, Navy, whatever costume or uniform and say, you know what? I die for this country. Because they had a opportunity to come from a loving family. They had an opportunity to come from a loving community. They have an opportunity to come from a loving environment. So guess what? They understand love of family and they understand love of country, and they willing to die for that shit, right? You know who was a Republican at first? Hillary Rodham Clinton, right? She was a Goldwater Republican. Hillary Rodham Clinton was.
I know I should answer the question that is on very many of your minds, and that is, how did a nice Republican girl from Park Ridge
said if white people, wait, I had to do a double take on that. DP said if white people were trustworthy, then we wouldn't need Bibles. DP, you got to explain that to me one time. You got to explain that to me when you call in probably tomorrow. You got to explain that joke to me because I don't fuck around and use that joke.
Go wrong?
I'd love to run against her. I'd also love to run against the communists. I never thought so.
I mean, this is one of the great unanswered questions that we have to address. And I have to tell you, it started right here. And the reason it did is because in 1964, during the presidential election of that year, I had the absolutely best teachers.
He discovered that instead they were merely planning to use his people, and these are his words.
Right? This is what your teachers do, right? When you get teachers, right, that influence that tell you their agenda, right, you get programmed. But when you have a community, right, and a society that tell you the truth, right, you get educated, right? You get educated in proper schools and good neighborhoods and stuff like that because they less more worried about crime, right, and sex and drugs, right, and getting shot going home, and they can concentrate on school and education and their future, right? They don't have to worry about really if they're gonna have a future, right? They worried about making a future, right? So it's other obstacles that kids got to deal with in the ghetto, right? Before they even get to school, they got to worry about clothes. They got to worry about food. They got to worry about certain things at home, money, light bills, mother. Then when they walk out the house, they probably got to worry about gangs and crime and all kind of stuff, right? And then in school, they got to worry about lack of education. You know what I'm saying? Is they getting the proper education, right? Lack of school products like books and pencils and stuff like that. Lack of safety and bad stairwells and no cameras and all kind of shit. It's plenty of stuff they got to deal with before school, during school, and after school to be worried about an education, right? If you take out the crime, if you take out the drugs in the neighborhood, you take out a lot of stuff in the neighborhood where a kid can just concentrate on school, right? Black people will be well better off. But like this dude right here is saying, the Democrats not trying to better the community, right? Because if you better the black people community, guess what? Guess what happens then? then black people be equal with white people. Black people have equal opportunity, right? And they can be successful and live and work, right? And communicate with other people, other races, right? Because they be on the same level. But they don't want you on that same level. They want to keep you down. They want to keep you not reproducing. They want to keep you separated, right? How the black people, we separated from every race, and in our community, we separate from ourselves. There's no high percentage of black marriages. Look it up. Look it up. Every black person is damn near by themselves. Look it up. How many black single men out there? How many black single women out there? Right? How many black women say they don't need a man for shit? How many black men not looking for a woman for shit? Look it up. Google it.
To use them as cannon fodder in a bloody revolution to destroy America.
Right?
Now, maybe I'm wrong.
That's how they're using black people in a bloody revolution to destroy America. If you look at homicides, if you look at robberies, if you look at penitentiaries, right? If you look at crime, rape, if you look at anything, black people are in a leading majority of the category by large numbers, right? By large, you look on the local news, you see a nigga robbing something every day. You look on the TV, you see somebody getting shot every day, or hear about somebody getting shot every day, right? Not too many white people, not too many Hispanics, not too many Asians, right? Not too many Jews, right? But black people every single day. I can turn on right now, right? I can Google right now, gang shooting, right? It's gonna be a black person, right? I can Google somebody get shot in a police chase, right? It's gonna be a black person. I can say shootout in broad daylight. It's gonna be a black person, right? I can say, I mean, you name some of the worst categories, right? I don't give a fuck what it is, right? It's gonna be a black person, right? Let's do a test drive right quick, right? Let's do a test drive, right? Let me see. Let me see what we're gonna do. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna say, what we at, right? Gang violence, right? Gang shootout. Gang shootout. The gang shootout, right? Right? Black people, right? Black people, black people, black people, black people, black people, black people. I mean, it's not, you ain't gotta be racist, right? Let's see, robbery in broad daylight, right? Broad daylight in New York, right? Broad daylight in New York, right? Black people, right? We can name that race right there, right? Oh, there's another race of people right there, right? Black people, right? This is a white boy. Black people, black people, black people. Let's go. Let's look up another crime. Carjacking. Carjacking in DC. Carjacking in DC, right? Carjacking in DC. This black people, right? Black people. Come on, black people. Come on, they coming out of cars. We are doing the most vicious shit to each other. Black people, right? You name the crime. You name the crime. Assault on a train. Let's put assault on a bus. Assault on the bus. You name the crime. I'm assault on a bus. On a bus. Right? This assault on the bus. Right? Black women, right? I don't know who that is, right? They don't know who that is. Another black person. Come on. We're doing this to ourselves. We're gonna look up one more. We're gonna look up what's another crime? What's another crime? That's brutal assault. Brutal assault. We're gonna put a brutal assault. Brutal assault. Right? Oh, they got rap. They got rap songs and stuff. Brutal fight. Okay, no. We're gonna put like this. We're gonna put like this, right? We're gonna put like this. We're gonna put a mall fight. Mall fight. Look, put in a mall fight. This is fun. Put in a mall fight. See who on a mall fight, right? In a mall. Who fighting in the mall? Right? Mall fight. Right, that's something, right? That's something, right? Black people. We don't know who that is. We don't know who that is, right? Oh, there goes some other people. There goes some white people. Black people, right? There goes white people getting their ass beat by black people. Another girl thinks she white, want to be black, but most of them black people. We finna get up out of this. Prove my point, right? We gotta stop, right? We gotta stop doing this shit, right? Because like this man said, this is exactly what the Democrats and the communists want us to do. They want us to fight the war, a bloodshed war for them, right? We fighting the war for them. We killing ourselves, right? And doing the job for them while they kicking back, right? And they communists and they democratic process, right? And letting niggas play gladiator school and shit like that. You look up anything, school shootings and stuff like that. It's always big when a white person shoot up a school, right? But they don't never talk about when black people shoot up a school, and we shoot them up every day. Let me Google school shootout, right? Let me do school shootout, right? This is the last one. School shootout. School shooting, right? School shooting, right? Even though the big ones be black people, but let's go to school shooting, right? Let's see right here, right? School. Did I spell school shooting right? This a black. Uvalde, that's a white person, right? That's a white person, right? Oh, they got the white people on the school shootings, right? Because they do the mass shootings, right? Teen confessor killing someone doing Instagram chat. They doing mass shootings. This was funny, right? This dude was funny, right? They're like, hey, man, your kid just shot up a gay bar. Oh, my God, is he gay? I'm going to redo that video for the fuck of it tomorrow, right? But let's get back into it, right? But this is how they treat black people. They don't want black people to succeed, so they have black people in these cities fighting fucking Mortal Kombat wars and all of those shit, right? We fighting each other at an extreme rate, killing and beating and robbing and all that shit. And it's all the Democrat communist plan. This is sucker right here.
A friend of mine has said to me, listen, just because a man sounds a little irresponsible during a campaign doesn't mean he's going to act irresponsibly. You know that theory that the White House makes the man. I don't buy that. You know what I think makes a president? I mean, aside from his judgment, his experience, are the men behind him.
As early
and that's why they're trying to lock everybody who mess with Donald Trump up. They're trying to say he's white supremacist, right? Even right now, they're saying the man behind him. Look, this is an old video. They're saying it's not the person, it's the man behind him. Who is they trying to put behind Donald Trump right now? Nick Fortes, Kanye West, all the anti-Semites, right? All the racists, all the white supremacists. They're trying to line all of them up with Donald Trump so they can say, don't look at Trump, don't look at the man, don't look at his policies, look at the people he hang with, look at the people who's inviting to Mar-a-Lago, look at the people who's eating dinner with. This is the person who he is, right? That's what they're going to say, like that Rhino said just a few minutes ago. But he finna say what effect communists is having on the black community, because it's communism, right, affects black people in America the worst, right? Communism not affecting white people, right? It's not affecting white people as like it's going to affect black people. It's not going to affect the Hispanic community because they know how to deal with it. They done ran from it. They know what communism is. They know what it looks like. They came over here and got opportunities because it's a free country. The black people, they the only one don't know we living in a free country, right? We living in the land of opportunity, right? So communism is going to hurt the black people worse, and it's hurting us the worst, right? You think communism is to make one group of people rich and one group of people poor? You think that white people going to make themselves poor, nigga, and you rich? Hell no. They're going to make themselves rich. You are the class of the communism that's supposed to be the lower class. That's why you get the bottom of everything: education, living, wages, money, home ownership, business, taxes, you name it. You getting the worst of everything: marriage, kids. You getting the worst of everything. You are the test dummies for the white people, the socialists, right? The communists, the Democratic Party. You are the test dummies. And look at this dude expose it.
Early as 1928, the communists declared that the racial differences among our people constituted the weakest and most vulnerable point in our social fabric. By constantly probing and straining at this one spot, they calculated that eventually the cloth could be torn apart and that Americans could be divided, weakened, and perhaps even set against each other in open combat.
Huh? What we doing right now? It's open combat everywhere, right? Open combat. Blacks on Asians, blacks on whites, police on blacks, Mexican and black, rich and poor, gay and this, trans and that, white supremacy and the trans. You gave it. You name it. The fabric is tore because this is exactly what the Democrats want. They want open combat, confusing. Right? So they can come in and dictate their laws and dictate their policies, right? Take away the guns and say all kind of shit. Communism. They taking away guns so you can't defend yourself. They want the killing to go on. Every time somebody get killed, they don't say nothing about the killing, nothing about the violence, nothing about stopping it. What they say? We need to come out with an assault gun ban. We need to come out and take all the guns. They don't never talk about the solution. They always say taking away the guns is the solution. What if that don't work? Is you gonna give them back? Hell no, they not.
Events in Venezuela remind us all that socialism and communism are not about justice. They are not about equality. They are not about lifting up the poor.
And think about this. Socialism do not, all the shit the Democrats is preaching, which is socialism, all this shit is racist. It's the communism and the socialism is some of the most racist shit in the world. Because if you put all them socialist plans, right, and you break them down, socialist plans that the Democrats have been promoting is the biggest single factor of the black decline in American history. You know, welfare is a social plan. You can't get married, you can't own shit on a government program, right? That's a social program, right? And that is right there is one of the single biggest fucking downfalls of black people. Unemployment, which is GR, and unemployment, you don't have to work and they still give your ass a check, right? Or you get a check and you keep the man out the house and don't go to school and don't own shit and don't get a job. Just stay right there, have babies and stay right there, right? All these social programs that the Democrats put up is the single biggest downfall to the black man and the black woman in the history of America. It wasn't slavery. Some people actually done better in slavery that they done it on welfare. Think about this shit. Without the beatings, right? Without all the other shit, some people probably need that because you got some people right now, right, are mentally fucked up with no guidance, no structure, right? They out here killing, they out here on drugs, they out here robbing people, they out here fucking people up. You mean to tell me these people should be running the street? These people need some guys. They need to be somewhere with their ass whooped and controlled, right? It's the black people, right, that worked hard, that fought for the freedom, that learned how to educate themselves, that learned how to fight back, that learned how to free people, right? Like Harriet Tubman. Right, you got a lot of famous black people. Booker T. Washington, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of famous black people that done the right shit, that educate themselves in a part of history, right? They don't really talk about them, right? But you got a lot of black people that was that way. But you also had some dumb niggas that wanted to remain slaves. Some niggas didn't know that it was a different world out there. Some niggas that was scared to leave the plantation because they didn't know what else is out there. You got niggas that like that right now, right? These niggas stuck in the hood. These niggas out here selling dope and game banking and doing all that shit in the 3-block radius. Ain't never took a plane flight. Ain't never took a trip. Trust me, because I was one of them niggas. The first plane flight I ever took, MAGA paid for it, right? I ain't never been out the hood. The first time I've been out the hood, MAGA paid for it. right? So and I know when they say, hey man, a person can be stuck in the hood. I was stuck in a 10-block radius for damn near half of my life. I didn't really leave that. I made my money in that 10-block radius. I met my girls. I gang bang. Wherever I done that 10-block radius, because if I go outside that 10-block radius, I probably get into some shit. Right? So you can be trapped, right, in your community and don't know nothing outside your community, right? And you got to survive in that community, right? And that 10-block community is probably, in that 10-block radius, there's probably 3 different gangs up in there, right? And I didn't get along with 2 of them, right? So think about this. The socialist program and this communism is not affecting black people. If you really look at it and hear what these people say, this is something for white people, the racist ass white liberal people, right, to fuck over black people with these social programs that they think they're benefiting from.
And they are certainly not about good of the nation.
We must not be led into placing the blame for the riots, the civil disorders, on the Negro people of our nation. Even those few who are promoting hatred and violence in the black communities are not themselves the cause. They're merely being used by forces far bigger than they are.
Right? Do you hear when black people say, I'm a victim of my neighborhood, I'm a product of my environment, right? When you put somebody, right, in a neighborhood, right, and you put them in a neighborhood with drugs and gangs and killing and murder and rape and robbery, right? What you think he gonna come out a saint? Right? If you throw a motherfucker in the jungle, you think he gonna come out a city boy? Right? He gonna be a victim of an environment. Right? If I was raised around blood, most likely I'm gonna be a blood. If I was raised around Crips, most likely I was gonna be a Crip. If I was raised around Christians, most likely I'm gonna be a Christian. If I was raised around gay people, most likely I'm gonna be gay. Right? You're a product of your environment and what goes on in your environment and what you see and what you cling to and what you taught. If you ain't been taught shit, right, and you'll fall for anything, and you got these so-called, who sent me a donation? Good looking out, Diane. More people need to be like Diane and see a donation. This video is getting deep. I know this video is good. I know this video is good for a donation. If you want more powerful videos like this, right, because they don't do no other videos like this on YouTube, be like Diane, be like DP, and send a donation. This video deserves more donations than that. Stop being greedy. This shit is good. You getting your money's worth, right? But anyway, let's get back into this video, right? The reason why I like Barry Goldwater so much because he was the original Donald Trump. And like I say, I'm a history major. I love history. I like going back in the past and comparing it to the future because the future, right, is dependent on the past, right? You have to know the past to know your future. You got to know where you've been to know where you're going and know where you're at, right? So I know where I'm at. I know where I've been. And hopefully I know where I'm going. That's why I study history. Oops.
You know he's right.
Ah, that was his catchphrase. In his heart, you know he's right. Barry Goldwater ain't lying. He's telling the truth.
His advisors, the cabinet, and so many men with strange ideas are working for Goldwater.
To promote the violent phase of the revolution in America, hoping to avoid further violence and bloodshed. The public is to be pressured into accepting measures that will move the country gradually and legally toward communism.
Gradually and legally towards communism, right? Communism has been creeping up on the country, right, for the longest. You even had Chuck Schumer the other day talking about how we're not having enough kids, right? And we're not having enough babies that we got to let other countries come up in here because we're not producing at a rate that's going to keep up with the population of the country and the needs of the country. So we need to bring in other people, right? This is communism, right? We're making up policies, right? Communism is coming. Look, it's being infected. I mean, it's being implemented right in our face. right? Like, ha ha. I mean, it's like a carrot. They dingling the carrot in your face, like, ha ha. What you gonna do? We promoting communism, and you can't do shit about it because guess what? We're making the world racist, and the people who saying something about it, like Donald Trump, we're making them untrustable, right? Unvotable, right? We're tearing them apart. We're making them criminals, right? We're holding investigations on them and all that, right? So the people who are talking about it and telling the truth about it, we're turning them into people that you can't trust. Aha, we got the carrot and we hanging it in your face. It's like we know it. We like, you son of a bitch, give me that carrot. Give me that. But we can't reach it because every time we try to reach it, they pull it back. And then they put it in your face again. Aha. And then you get frustrated and mad because you want that damn carrot. You like, I gotta have that fucking carrot. I can't keep letting you dangle that fucking carrot in my face because I know what you're doing and I know what you're trying to do. Right? I'm not gonna let you do it. I'm gonna snatch that damn carrot. But they snatch it back. Aha. And all you can do is get mad. Because Donald Trump is the carrot.
Socialism and communism are about one thing only: power for the ruling class.
But without calling it that. The strategy of the proletarian revolution calls for the quiet conversion of our government into a communist regime, but under the banner of socialism.
Huh? A communist, right? Slowly but surely, we're turning to communists, right? Because guess who used to be a conservative? Hillary Clinton used to be a conservative, right? And why did she turn liberal? Because that's the naturally racist party, right? You just don't be from a family full of Republicans, full of conservatives, right? And have conservative views, and then become a politician and become a Democrat.
And they decided they were going to have a mock election.
And she said she became a Democrat because she went to school and they switched roles, right? And she said somebody had to be her, Lyndon Johnson, and she had to be Lyndon Johnson, and somebody else had to be Goldwater, since she was a big Goldwater fan. So she said she went and studied the Democrats and debated as a Democrat, right? Because she found out the Democratic history, right? A history of racism, segregation, murder, rape, you name it. And evidently she liked that more than she liked the Republican Party, right? So she studied. So she was a Republican. She studied the Democratic Party, the liberal ways, and was so impressed with their history and their policies that she left the Republican Party, the party that fought for the Civil War, the party that freed the slaves, right? The party that had the first black man in Congress and Senate and all that, right? She left that party to join the party that done over Black Wall Street, that was the head of the KKK, that made up the Jim Crow laws. She wanted to be part of that party. These are her words, not mine.
And that we were really going to go all out. We were going to have debates. We were going to have the whole panoply of activities around a mock election. At that time, as Ken Reese has told every reporter in America who has called to ask him, and I understand he runs a one-man information bureau about me, I was a Goldwater girl.
The hardest thing for me about this whole campaign is to sort out one Goldwater statement from another. A reporter will go to Senator Goldwater and he'll say, Senator, on such and such a day, you said, and I quote, blah, 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 whatever it is, end quote. And then Goldwater says, well, I wouldn't put it that way. I can't follow that. Was he serious when he did put it that way? Is he serious when he says he wouldn't put it that way? I just don't get it.
I just don't get it, right? You got somebody on here, right, he's a rhino, right? They're like the rhinos right now saying that they don't get Donald Trump, right? Talking about his policies, right? It's always some rhino, right? And you can tell that he's part of the establishment, just like you got establishment Republicans right now, speaking out against Republicans and not supporting them. Especially somebody that can win the election, especially somebody that the people are supporting. Goldwater had big ass crowds, right? He had big ass rallies, just like Donald Trump. People, we want Barry, we want Barry. The same thing. He was a rock star just like Donald Trump.
The new program of the Communist Party on this subject has this to say. The term socialism describes but the first stage of a new society that in its full development is called communism.
Socialism in its full stage is communism, right? If you look out the history of time, if you study socialism, if you know anything about governments, right? Socialism is communism. Look it up, Google it. So when Bernie Sanders, AOC, and all these people talking about they socialists, when Joe Biden talking about he putting all these socialist plans in and shit like that, right? I'm going to be the biggest, whatever since LBJ. Guess who was running against LBJ? Barry Goldwater. but he wanted to be the biggest. I forgot the word he said. The biggest social, whatever. The biggest. I forgot the name of that kind of president, right? The biggest social president or whatever. He wanted to be the biggest that since Lyndon B. Johnson, right? Well, this was all this shit started, right? The segregation, right? The Civil Rights Bill, right? The vision of power when black people, right, was bribed and tricked into joining the Democratic Party. It was all started with Lyndon B. Johnson. So you saying you want to run the same policies as Lyndon B. Johnson, who was the first motherfucking not openly, right, but had the first communist policies that that fucked over blacks, right? He was the first one to have it. I'm going to give you the welfare plan. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that. We're going to make all these social programs, right? Just like Joe Biden said he's going to do. Huh? How was it that the two people, the person say, the person that fucked up the black race the most with these social programs, right, is the person that Joe Biden said, I'm going to pattern my administration after. The same person. You mean to tell me in that so-called social structure plan, you can say, well, if a black woman have a baby by a black man, they can be married and they both can receive benefits, right? They both can apply for a house. They both can raise their kid. Not look when a black woman have a baby, we want that black man out the house, and we're going to break that black man by making him pay child support. That way he can't go out and live a normal life, and that way he can't help or support another family. We're going to get him like that. We're going to neutralize the black man. Make him pay child support one place so he'd be no good another. Right? Instead of letting him stay at home, right, with his family, right, and with his kid, right, and make it financial beneficial, beneficial that he stays there and raises his kid and be with his woman and have a wife, right, and get a job and produce for society, right? It would help the woman, right? Because she wouldn't be looking for a man, and she would be trying to play the role of a man, and she know what a woman's place is. It would help the kids because they would have security, they would have a structure, and the little girl would know what a father is, and the little boy would have some discipline, right? It would help the man because it would give him responsibility, and it would keep his ass out the street from doing drive-bys and gang banging and selling drugs and running from the police and doing all that old shit. So you end all kind of shit, and it's not going to be 100%, right? But you end most of the shit by just having a black man in the house. That's it. That's all. But we've been having a black man out of the house so long, especially the black man in the black woman house so long, the black women say they don't even need a man no more. That's how long they've been. They used to not having a man. They know, you know what I'm saying, it's normal for a black woman not to have a black man in the house. And that's what all this social programming and this communism is designed to do.
Today I repeat a message for the world that I have delivered at home. America will never be a socialist country.
You hear that? America will never be a socialist country as long as you don't let it, right? But it's not up to Donald Trump, right? Because Donald Trump is only one person, right? It's up to you. You have to vote. You have to educate, right? You have to support. You have to do all kind of stuff, right? Because if this country becomes a socialist country, right? All the money you saved, right? All the time you didn't spend, all the help you didn't give, guess what? It ain't no good. So guess what? If you don't donate no money to me, guess what? The Democrats gonna take that shit later. So you might as well look out for me, right? So I can do this video and you can share this video and maybe we can get this education, right? Or not if it's not me, so support somebody like me, right? So we can get this education, this message out, because the conservative message is a dying message. If people don't understand that shit, right? How important conservative messages are, it's a dying message. You just had George Soros, right? You just had George Soros by all the by all the Hispanic radio stations, right? You got Elon Musk just happened to buy Twitter to get some type of voice relevancy back. But then you got people trying to fight him on Twitter. You got social media, right? That's telling people what stories they can put out, right? Not no conservative stories, right? You put all the conservative stories out you want, but what liberal stories they can put out, right? Look at the schools, right? Look at what they teaching your kids, right? Look at Virilago, whatever that Balenciago, right? The clothing company just came out with some stuff promoting child pedophilia and shit like that, right? Just look at the society, right? This look at what you're going through right now. Conservative messages is getting censored. Just look at my page, right? I get censored for downloading shit now. I gotta download shit on another page so they won't flag me, and I gotta watch what I say because you can find worse shit on YouTube than what I put up, right? You can find a whole lot worse shit, right? But since I got a conservative message, they don't want that out. They know I got a powerful message, right? They know ain't too many YouTubers, somebody know it, right? Ain't too many YouTubers on here with a message like mine. Can't too many YouTubers do the research I do, right? They don't want this message out because my message can be too powerful because it has facts, I have evidence, I have proof, right? And I don't just make up shit, right? And it's funny and it's entertaining. They don't want this out. The conservative message is dying. So if people don't support the conservative message, right, and this conservative message start leaving one by one, who gonna tell the people about the awareness? Who gonna deliver the message? Who gonna wake up the people if all the conservative messages get drowned out because conservative ain't supporting to conservatives, right? You got the Democrats part. Look at Herschel Walker, right, and Warren, right? Warnock is making 3 times as much as Herschel Walker, right? So he gonna have 3 times more of a message than Herschel Walker. He gonna be able to get out his message way more, 3 times more as Herschel Walker. So people gonna hear the liberal message before they hear the conservative message, and they're gonna hear the liberal message a whole lot more. Why you think money and campaigning and financing, right, and getting the message out is so important, right? Like me, I can get more messages out, right? But I'm just like a politician. I can't get no more messages out unless I get campaign funds, unless I get funding and donations, just like a politician, right? How they got to get out their message. I can't get out the message unless I'm funded, just like anybody else. And if I'm not funded, this message don't get out. And guess what? That's another conservative voice gone. And that's exactly what they want. They want this voice gone. They want people like Black Conservative and the High Swing and all them. They want them gone, right? But one by one, right? We're going to leave because guess what? As we're getting taken off, right? The liberals are getting financed, right? They're getting money, right? They're getting their message across, right? While we're conservative, we got to fight and claw and scratch. Well, some of us, right? We got to fight and scratch and claw and monitor, be monitored, and all kind of shit just to get a message out. Look how much shit I gotta go through just to get the message out. Look how much shit I gotta go through, and I'm not saying, right? I'm not appreciative, right? But if we want things like this, right, we got to support things like this. Because the liberals do it all the time. So when I say, hey, send a nigga a donation or something like that, it shouldn't be nothing, because you know I'm gonna get the message out. You can send this video, or you can share this video with somebody, right? And they can get the message out, right? It's stuff on here, right? Or stuff that I researched that you didn't know nothing about. Or you can connect the dots, right? I connect the dots for you. And without financing, the dots can't get connected. Just like in any other thing. Donald Trump need finance. Why you think people like, well, Donald Trump got $100 million that he could have donated to the people in the midterms? No, Donald Trump got a treasure chest. So when he runs, right, he can flood the internet, or he can send the messages and do the right shit because he got the financial backing. He got $100 million in his war chest. Right? He's not going to be reaching out, and he's going to be asking for more donations, but that's going to be more for the campaign. So when he ran the first time, he only had 20 million or 30 million or something like that, and he had to fight everything with that small amount of money because he was putting up his own money. Guess what? He ain't got to do that now. Right? And he's going to have way more power and way more ability for people to hear his message. People can't hear my message if you're silent. People can't hear my message if I'm being silent, if I can't produce. Right? So everybody is part of this shit. Everybody is a part of this conservative movement. Because I'm telling you, if we lose the conservative voice, we might as well give up. We fucked. They always talk about our freedom of speech, our Second Amendment right, our First Amendment right. If we lose them, we are fucked. And if we don't support the people that's out here sacrificing and taking the bumps and the bruises, the people out there marching and demonstrating, the people out there making videos and taking all this shit, we're going to lose as a party. Because guess what? They're going to win if they can shut us up. They're going to win if we have to shut up. Right? And I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about everybody that's a conservative that's out here in the fight. I consider myself in the fight. Right? I'm a political figure. Right? I put my face and my name on everything I do, on the videos, on everything I do. So it's not like I'm not in the fight. Right? It's not like people don't know that I'm in the fight. Right? I'm not on the sideline or anything like that. I'm in the middle of this shit. Right? I mean, when the alphabet boys come to talk to certain people about certain dates, right? I'm one of them people, right? Can't too many people say I am one of them people. When the people say, "Hey, man, you are vicious, and you was here, and you was there, and this is this," and I am one of them people. Well, I made the news. on here, I've been on the news. Hey, we need to vote Trump in 20. I made twice Lauren Ingalls show and the Daily News. I've been on YouTube. I've been on Rise. I've been on other people's shows. I'm in the fight, right? Fighting for y'all, fighting for us, right? Everybody don't have the ability to fight. Everybody got a role to play, right? If you can't be in a fight because you got something to lose, stay out the fight. But support the people that's in the fight, right? If you can't support the people by sending money and nothing, support the people by sharing the message, sharing the video, sharing the knowledge. Because people are in this fight for you, right? I'm in this fight for you. I'm in it for me, right? And for my family and stuff like that. Right? But this fight is mainly for you. I feel like Donald Trump. I'm mainly fighting for you. I take these bruises for you because I can easily do something else like Donald Trump could, right? But when you feel like you obligated and you have a mission, right? You fighting for the people. So the people have to understand, since I'm fighting for you, you also got to fight for me, right? You just can't leave me hang. You got to say, well, I'm going to send this nigga $1 because I understand he's fighting for me. This not no message for him. He's not getting on here entertaining himself. He's not doing all this research for him and his purposes, because he can do all that research and keep it to himself. He's doing all this for me and for us and for the country, right? When I say me, I'm just not talking about me. Any conservative that's out here taking these bruises and these sticks and these stones and these bumps, because this shit hurts. Y'all know how much this shit hurt. I mean, it's like Jesus was getting whipped. That shit hurt, right? The sleepless nights, the back, all that shit, the constant flags, and even when it hurts your pockets, that shit hurt because they want to silence you. You can't let them do it. Communism win.
Sometimes I wish I'd been at that convention in San Francisco. I mean, I wish I'd been a delegate. I really do, because I would have fought, you know? And I wouldn't have worried so much about party unity, because if you unite behind a man you don't believe in, it's a lie.
Go with Goldwater. Now go with Goldwater.
It's my song right here. You know where Goldwater stands.
Socialism is a transitional stage. The building of socialism is the communist revolution in America.
Of the Barack Hussein Obama administration. Which administration loves spying on people's campaigns?
You know who the first person got that campaign spied on? Goldwater, go with Goldwater. You know with Goldwater. I don't even know the song. It just sound like that, right? But he was the first person to get spied on, Trump. It wasn't you. It wasn't you, Trump. I'm sorry to say. You my nigga, Trump. But Goldwater was first.
Was absolutely spying into my campaign.
I guess you could, I think there's spying did occur. Yes, I think spying did occur.
Well, you know, it didn't start with Watergate. People are talking right now about Russiagate and the FBI and so forth.
By the way, could you imagine if it were the other way around and I spied on his campaign? What would these fake news people be doing?
As a conservative, I don't believe that we have to come up with answers to every problem that's posed by an individual or the other party.
It represents the process whereby our country can be moved gradually toward communism without the people even being aware of it.
Right? And how do you do that? How do you do that, right? You make people different classes, right? In communism, socialism, you separate the classes. You got the rich and you got the poor. You make the people trust the government, right? And then you do handouts, call them social programs, right? And then you lock up your political opponents for talking about it, right? They doing all of that. Social programs, right? Separating the classes, right? Giving handouts and locking up their political opponents when they don't spy on them, right? Why do you think they was locking up Donald Trump and trying to do Barry Goldwater? Because both of them was promoting against socialism and telling the truth.
No. It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
Spying on Obama, spying on Clinton. Could you imagine you're spying on President Obama, right? You're spying on President Obama from the outside and you get caught.
They got caught spying on Barry Goldwater, right? But they spied on Barry Goldwater, something way more vicious than they spied on Donald Trump. I don't know who was more vicious, right? But the result was way more vicious than Donald Trump. So Donald Trump wasn't even the worst Spygate. Goldwater was.
And in point of fact, I had personal knowledge of the president of the United States of America, Lyndon Baines Johnson, using both the CIA and the FBI to invade and to bug and surveil the Goldwater campaign.
No. And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie.
I think it would be, at a minimum, the rest of your life in the Who's Gal.
I mean, really, we used to wear, little banners which said Goldwater Girl.
Huh? She was a Goldwater girl. He not a Goldwater dude, but she was a Goldwater girl. Hillary Rodham Clinton was a Goldwater girl. Think about it before she turned racist.
I tell you, those people who got control of that convention, who are they? I mean, when the head of the Ku Klux Klan, when all these weird groups come out in favor of the candidate of my party, either they're not Republicans or I'm not.
Huh? Do you hear that? And you hear what the Republicans, the so-called establishment Republicans are saying right now. They're saying the same thing, especially since Donald Trump just had a business dinner, right? When Kanye West bought the damn racist white supremacists to the damn Mar-a-Lago, right? They're going to say the same thing right now. somebody from my party is being supported by the white supremacists. Why are they saying the same thing now that they said in the 60s, y'all? Tell me I'm lying. Stop me when I'm lying.
We have one and only one solution for all problems. More government, and then more and more until it's total government.
They planted a spy in our headquarters. We didn't know about this. And what this spy did, and she was a woman secretary, was to take advanced copies and sometimes early advanced.
Oh shit, they got another fang, right? A woman spy, right? But Donald Trump had the FBI spying on him, right? And he knew the people that were spying on. I mean, he knew that they was corrupt. He didn't know they were spying on them, but he knew that they was enemies, right? This person wasn't an enemy. They was working inside of the Republican Party. Think about this. Donald Trump had the FBI, but they wasn't working inside his party. Some, you know what I'm saying, some of the politicians was, but these spies was working inside of the party. Come on, man. You can't get more closer than that.
Advanced copies of the senators' speeches, give them to a group of Democrats who were working out of the White House.
We must support our local police. Nothing can be quite so damaging to police morale and efficiency as converting every arrest into a trial of the policeman.
Huh? Ain't that what we're doing now? Think about this. He said we must treat the police as with respect, right? Ain't we disrespecting the police right now? Ain't the police scared to arrest people because they might be put on trial? How is the same thing happening in the 60s, right? That's happening right now because the Democrats have been promising you they're going to change shit, have been promising you they're going to make shit better, right? But it's been the same problems since the 60s. Why? Because somebody else up in the chat said it, right? They create the problems and so they can solve them. Who said that? I was just reading somebody said, right? Who said that? Right? Somebody said in the chat, right? They said, I kind of glanced at it, right? They make the problems so they can solve them. Right? Big D said it. Big D. I saw it right now. They make the problems so they can solve them. Right? And you can be the problem solver, right? But you got to keep the problem going, right? They say the money is not in the cure, it's in the treatment. So you keep treating the problem, you can keep getting money out of it. Because as soon as you solve gang violence, as soon as you solve drugs, as soon as you solve prison, right? As soon as you solve single parent homes, as soon as you solve abortions, as soon as you solve all that, the politicians is no longer needed. What do you need the police for, right? If niggas out here not killing each other, if people are out here not getting assaulted, what do you need the police department for? What do you need the police to come around and check the neighborhood and jack you up against the walls for if ain't no crime and ain't no drugs in the neighborhood? Because people are loving their neighborhood. Huh? What you need a handout for? What you need a social program for if you got a 9-to-5 making good money or you own your own business? What you need a handout for? Huh? What you need a welfare check for? Huh? It's so many. If black people was more independent on itself, right, and more self-sufficient, right, and done more for their neighborhood, right, as protecting their neighborhood and protecting the people in their neighborhood, they wouldn't have to worry about the police. They wouldn't have to worry about no racism. They wouldn't have to worry about no white man. They wouldn't have to worry about no education. They wouldn't have to worry about no future. They wouldn't have to worry about no gang violence. They wouldn't have to worry about no drugs. They wouldn't have to worry about equality. Right? But long as the liberals can put that shit up in your community and say you lacking all of these, they can keep on coming up with a treatment. Because they're never going to cure it. If they was, they could have cured it 60 years ago. Why is this dude sounding like a Democrat or liberal, right? 60 years ago, talking about liberal policies or what the liberals ain't doing 60 years ago. And it sounds like he can make the same point. As a matter of fact, it don't sound like he can make the same exact point today about schools, about education, and about black people.
Instead of the criminal.
And he's in the midst of a scandal.
He's not.
And he's taking Of course he is, Leslie.
Come on.
Of course he is. It's the biggest, second biggest scandal.
So-
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign.
Total government is communism. We must not be fooled into thinking that the causes of our civil turmoil are such things as poverty, poor housing, lack of education, and similar social or economic factors.
That's what the Democrats preach. And all of them things, right, is what the Democrats preach that we black people are lacking the most. Education, housing, all that. Think about this. This is from the 60s, y'all. And the Democrats have been depriving us these things and telling us they're going to make these things better since the 60s. Or we're going to get y'all better housing. We're going to get you better education. We're going to make the community safer. They've been saying this shit from the 60s and ain't nothing changed yet. Ain't nothing got better. Ain't nothing getting better. There's not even no belief and hope that things are going to get better, right? At least it's going to be like, oh, I see things getting better, right? I know things done got better, but from what the Democrats and the liberals pushing about things ain't never getting better and the shit that they preaching, it's never going to get better according to the Democrats because they don't see nothing on the horizon. They don't see no future. They don't see, okay, we getting close or we almost there. We getting better. No, they're not saying none of that. They're saying everything is fucked up.
As a matter of fact, most of today's self-styled revolutionaries, black and white, come from good homes, could earn better than average incomes if they wanted to work.
If they wanted to work. Think about this. How many broke-ass protesters you see out there? How many homeless protesters you see out there? How many less fortunate protesters you see out there? There's always somebody with a college education, a good job, a good background, come from a good home, or usually paid, right? Most of the people out there protesting don't even got nothing to protest against because the shit they protesting don't even affect them. I see niggas out there protesting abortion. People ain't never had a baby out there protesting abortion, right? Come on, man. It's not even going to affect you.
I thought about just not voting in this election, just staying home, but you can't do that because that's saying you don't care who wins, and I do care.
And in fact, they're products of some of the finest institutions of higher learning.
Protesters.
We mustn't resort to violence either as a means of furthering political or social goals. And we must do everything humanly possible to discourage others from doing so.
In the last century, socialism and communism killed 100 million people.
I think my party made a bad mistake in San Francisco, and I'm going to have to vote against that mistake on the 3rd of November.
Right? And that mistake is Donald Trump. You see how he's saying, I'm going to vote against my party, right? I'm going to vote against Barry Goldwater and vote for Johnson, right? Because I'm an established Republican, because Goldwater is fighting against communists. And I'm a Republican, but I'm also a communist, right? These are the type of people like Hillary Clinton that left the Republican Party because the Republican Party was fighting for the right shit, as Ronald Reagan say.
Believe me, if it weren't for Barry keeping those boys in Washington on their toes, do you honestly think our national defense would be as strong as it is?
Huh? Didn't Donald Trump do the same thing? If Donald Trump didn't put the NATO on their defense, right? Do you think NATO would be strong as it is today? When you're telling everybody you got to pay more money, you ain't paying more. You gonna have to up your donations, right? Everybody, Donald Trump done that, but Goldwater done it first. Look at this shit, Goldwater and Donald Trump. They should be president or daddy. Was I need to check. I need to check Barry Goldwater and Donald Trump DNA bloodline, but since they related, that is real daddy or something, because they is too much alike. They the same person.
Well, the first thing we can and should do is to rebuild and revitalize our whole system of alliances. And top priority must go to repairing the damage done by this administration to the great North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which to me is the greatest peacekeeping force ever devised by free men.
And that's why Donald Trump Make them motherfuckers pay up. All you son of a bitches gotta pay up. We know what y'all trying to do, but I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do.
And remember, when Barry talks about the way to keep the peace, when he says that only the strong can remain free, he knows what he's talking about.
Our allies will know that, once again, America wants to work with them as equal partners in the cause of freedom and peace.
In your heart, you know he's right.
In your heart, you know he's right. Donald Trump be saying that shit too. Now, if you was honest, you know I'm right. If you were honest, you know I was telling the truth. Donald Trump got that saying too, right? He got the Goldwater saying too. You know I'm right if you was telling the truth. If you listen to Donald Trump, he got the same thing. In your heart, you know he's right. That's a cold saying. In your heart, you know he's right.
They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
In something called the anti-campaign. They would then give these speeches by the senator beforehand so that before the senator arrived in Poughkeepsie to give a speech, somebody would give a counter speech to what he was going to say.
And didn't they do that on 8 Mile? Remember when Eminem was fit to rap and then dude took all his energy, right, and took all his rapping points? That's the same thing the Republicans done to Barry Goldwater. They stole his speech, gave it to somebody else, so when he come out there to do all, take away all his talking points and say all his whole little soliloquy, right, and leave Barry Goldwater stuck, right, because he done took all his talking points and knew exactly what Goldwater was going to say. This is worse. I mean, I don't know which one is worse. I don't know the whole details of Donald Trump. But you got somebody who's working with the Democratic Party and giving them your speech. That is a spy.
About it.
Crooked Hillary Clinton and the Democrats spied on my campaign, and they spied on my White House. They spied on me when I was in the Oval Office. Could you imagine if a Republican got caught spying on President Biden?
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
So my social studies teachers struck upon this great idea, since I was vocally a Republican and for Senator Goldwater.
How many of y'all knew that? How many of y'all knew, right? Y'all probably knew some of the racist people that Hillary Clinton followed, right? Some of the racist, you know, saying like the abortion bitch, you know, the Russian dude who was a spy, whatever, right? She followed some vicious people, right? Margaret Sanger and all. She followed some vicious people, but you didn't know probably that she was following Barry Goldwater and she was a Republican first until she so happened to do this mock debate. And then she became a racist Democrat.
And I know the wonderful Goldwater family. Do you honestly believe that Barry wants his sons and daughters involved in a war? Do you think he wants his wife to be a wartime mother? Of course not.
Right? Barry Goldwater didn't want to go to war, just like Donald Trump didn't go to war.
As a conservative, I don't believe that we have to come up with answers to every problem that's posed by an individual or the other party.
Right? Ain't that what the Democrats do? They try to come up and solve every problem, right? Every problem that black people got, they say they want to solve it. Police, guns, brutality, rape, whatever you say, education, right? We got it. They try to come up with and be the problem solver to everything, right? But the Republican Party say, I'm not your problem solver. You are, right? And the Democrats preach, well, see what he's doing? He don't want to help you. I want to help you. I want to give you these handouts. I want to make it more comfortable for you, right? And you have the Republicans say, no, I'm not going to help you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create something so you can help yourself. Get off your ass if you want to be rich, right? The Democrats say, no, don't need to get off your ass, right? I'll make the money for you, right? But I'm going to be able to take care of you because I'm going to make some money off of you too. Just sit at home, You know what I'm saying? Don't do nothing, right? Let me get the money and I hand it out to you because I'm responsible for you right now. I'm your daddy. And I'm going to give you an allowance, right? I don't want you to go out there and get no job and become independent, right? I want to be your daddy, right? And what the Republicans are saying, I'm not your daddy, all right? Go out there and make something of yourself. You're grown. Get off your ass. It's a difference. It's a difference. So we say, you think Barry Goldwater want to go to war? Did you think Donald Trump want to go to war? Hell no. Donald Trump say he know war don't make money, peace do. Because through peace, you can make deals.
So join me, won't you? Let's get a real leader and not a power politician in the White House. Vote for Barry Goldwater.
And you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
And maybe stronger than that. And they don't even talk about it. We caught them spying on our campaign. We have it, absolute proof. It's coming out every day, but we caught them spying.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay.
Durham's probe has led to a guilty plea from Kevin Kleinsmith, a mid-level FBI attorney who admitted in August 2020 to having doctored an email to obtain renewed FBI surveillance on Carter Page, a foreign policy advisor for the 2016 Trump campaign.
Oh, I never get worried on election day. You either win or you lose. There's no tie in this business.
One of the most flagrant examples of this was we were going to announce the fact that we were going to form a commission on peace and freedom, headed up by Vice President Richard Nixon.
And late last year, Durham secured an indictment against Michael Sussman, an attorney whose firm represented the Clinton campaign. Sussman is accused of lying to the FBI when he approached the Bureau with information purportedly tying computers in Trump Tower to a Kremlin-linked Russian bank.
I don't know which one is worse, right? You got somebody inside of your campaign working, giving them the information, or somebody working outside of your campaign getting information, trying to put you somewhere. I don't know which one is worse.
Now, in passing, ladies and gentlemen, you may have wondered why the Communist Party has been a staunch supporter of the drive to place a black studies curriculum into our high schools and colleges.
And one of my very best friends, a woman named Ellen Press, was one of the few Democrats in the whole school, vocally for Lyndon Johnson. Our social studies teacher said, well, we're going to have a debate, but here's what we're going to do. Hillary, you're going to be Lyndon Johnson. Ellen, you're going to be Barry Goldwater. Both of us went ballistic.
Because at first, Hillary Clinton probably didn't want to be a racist, right? They're like, Hillary Clinton, you are going to be a racist. And she probably was mad like, I don't want to be a racist. I want to be regular. I don't want to be a racist. Then she got to understanding, you know what I'm saying, the Democratic Party, and she started liking being a racist. But first, she didn't want to be a racist. She had a problem with it.
With a very distinguished roster of experts on national security and foreign policy. Well, 6 hours before we had announced it and released it, the White House announced their commission on peace and freedom and democracy with all of their people.
You see that? Right? Before they was fit to release their plan to the Republicans, right? The Democrats already came with one. They got all their people, right? The White House, just like Donald Trump, Barack Obama, right? Spied on Donald Trump. The White House spied on Barry Goldwater. Stop me when I'm lying.
But instead of this, we have Republicans who feel that we have to do a little more in the field of Medicare in order for us to be elected. I don't believe this is true. So the conservative position, I don't think, should be one of constantly coming up with so-called answers to every problem that a Democratic president or a Democratic Congress or political enemies of ours seem to see in this country.
Why do you think, right, Joe Biden always say when they come out with these social plans, we didn't get no help from the Republicans. Didn't one Republican vote on this party? Didn't one Republican vote on this bill, right? Because the Republicans don't believe that you got to help with every single problem that's a certain person have, right? You want to do everything for the Asians. You want to do everything for them other people. You want to do everything for the blacks. That's a damn shame. I can't even say them other people no more. I can't even say that group of people name because they're gonna say I'm such and such Semitic, right? But anyway, right? You want to do something for every single body that comes across. Do you want to do something for the immigrants? You want to do something for the transgender kids? You want to do something for old senior citizens? You want to do something for the, I mean, every single problem, the Democrats want to fix it. And then when the Republicans say, hey, man, we're not fit to have the men go into women's sports. That's not our problem. Hey, man, we fit to stop this border shit. That's a problem, right? Every time, right, the Republicans say we got a problem, we don't have, that's not our problem, or we do have a problem with it, right? The Democrats want to say that's racist, right? Or the Republicans are being harsh, or they don't care, right? And then what the Republicans, the Democrats try to do, right, they overdo it, right? Okay, since the Republicans don't agree with this, we're going to overdo it just to show we support that. So the Republicans don't support abortion, right? We're going to overdo abortion to show how much we support it, right? They don't support prison reform. We're going to overdo it, you know what I'm saying, to show with prison reform, right? They like guns, right? Well, we're going to overdo it to show we not with guns, right? Everything the Republicans do, the Democrats overdo it to show that they're the opposite. And right, and they try to get public support on being the opposite.
Well, the reason becomes obvious the minute you take a look at the textbooks and the study guides. Under the guise of academic balance, these courses have become a brilliant device for conditioning young people to accept still one more part of the total program for revolution.
I mean, this shit is 60 years old, but it is so spot on. I mean, you can just remake this video and put it up today about the social program, about the education, about the document, about the indoctrinating the kids and stuff like that. You can put this whole speech up today, and it'll be the same truth and the same problems today as it was 60 years ago, right? So you got to ask yourself, is things really getting better? If dude having a speech 60 years ago that you can have today and all the points and all the topics remain relevant, right? Have things really changed? I know things change from as far as a standpoint. If you want to be independent, if you want to be American, if you want to be conservative, if you have the ability to go out there and create your own, right? Oh yeah, things have changed dramatically for people like me, from my grandfather, right? It's changed dramatically from anybody in the 60s, dramatically. But if you leave it up to the liberals, the policies and the racism and the institutionalizations and all that shit, it ain't nothing changed. The police violence is still the same. The racism is still the same, right? The police mistrust is still the same. Poverty is still the same. Everything is still the same according to the liberals. Ain't nothing got better. But to me, from the shit I heard and the shit I saw, things have gotten tremendously better because I see the opportunities that my people, my ancestors say they never had. So is it getting better for me? Yeah, but is it getting better for black people? According to Democrats? No. It's not getting better for the people. It's getting better for the individual, right? As a people, right? We're not really going nowhere because it's not the white people holding us down. It's ourselves holding us down, right? But if you want to get somewhere as an individual, oh, you can do that. You can do that. But if you try to pull some niggas along, guess what? They're going to fuck around and pull you back. So you might as well go as an individual. And then if you get to a point, maybe you can pull some other individual up that want to be pulled up, that's sticking their hand out. Right? Not nobody who gonna stick their hand out, and when you grab them so you can pull them up, they pull your ass back down. No. Stay away from people like that.
I said, I can't do that. They said, oh, yes, you will. And you will now go to the library and you will now read about the other side of everything that you have refused to look at for your entire life.
They completely undercut us. But that wasn't the only thing that was going on. We began suspecting, we keep planning things and they keep leaking out. Maybe we're being bugged.
We must discover the identity of those individuals, both above and below, who consciously are furthering the communist program for revolution and then remove them from their positions of trust and leadership.
That would be the whole Democratic Party. You better wake up, people. You better wake up, people voting. I mean, I saw they were doing some John McCain Republicans, right? That was voting Democrat, right? And it was a long story. John McCain came after Goldwater, right? Because Goldwater from Arizona, right? And John McCain came after. He supposed to be the successor, right? But he fucked up, right? But now it's Republicans voting for Democrats, right? Because they don't like Donald Trump, right? Because they've been brainwashed to believe there's a better alternative. Well, guess what? You got Joe Biden, and how that worked out.
I wish you would interview Joe Biden like you interview me.
I did not anticipate that there'd be such a stalwart effort to make sure that the most important thing was that President Biden didn't get anything done.
You hear a lot about what these guys are against.
Right? Hey, do that sound familiar? You hear a lot about what these guys are against, but what are they for? I mean, is there any speech that Joe Biden haven't stole? Any speech that he hasn't took part of, right? Because he sounds just like this dude. Remember, I just done a show yesterday earlier today about George, what's his name? Justin Trudeau, daddy, where he got that just watch me shit from. Just watch me. Now, you done heard Joe Biden say a couple of times, right, that what do they stand for? This is where he got it from. This is the same saying that Joe Biden say. Where do they stand for? He got it from this dude.
These guys are against.
Think about this. What are Republicans for? What are they for?
They seem to be against just about everything, but what are they for?
Name me one thing they're for.
He's pleaded not.
Huh? Do I find the shit or not? I'm telling you, I find footage that you will never see, that you'll never know, right? I'll connect the dots that you'll never connect.
Guilty. And Rodney Jaffe, the man on the right of your screen, is a former executive at Newstar, a Virginia-based technology firm. Jaffe's widely reported to be the unnamed figure who was alleged in Friday's court documents to have been, quote, mining the executive office of the president's domain name system traffic and other data for the purpose of gathering derogatory information about Donald Trump.
Maybe there are bugs everywhere in our national headquarters. It got so bad that finally we said, basta, this is enough. We began making telephone calls outside our headquarters and a payphone with a...
Think about that, right? You got a spy in the White House or in your campaign so bad, right, that you got to go outside to make phone calls because you know you got somebody spying in your campaign, releasing all of your information. Like I say, I don't know if it was worse than Donald Trump because of the timing, right? Because they have all the internet and shit like that. But if they would have the internet and shit like that, I wonder whose would have been worse. Right? Having somebody spy on you from the outside or have somebody spy on you from the inside. Woo! Which one is worse, right? That you know that somebody in the office is spying on you, right? So you only can say certain things or do certain things, but then if you get hit from the outside, you don't know where it's coming from. So you don't know how to protect yourself. Oh, both of them is ugly.
The list of quarters which we're putting in there so that we could make confidential calls to our political operatives around America.
Can you imagine that? You're a political party, you running for president, right? And you have to go outside to a phone booth, right, to call one of your allies or your political partners, right, to tell them something, right? Hey, man, they ain't got no callback number. They can't call you on or something like that because they call you and the spy up in there. Guess what? They get the information, right? They spied on Goldwater campaign, something vicious, just like Donald Trump. Something vicious.
The Constitution was written to prevent the kind of power concentrating that is now concentrating. I might say not...
And has not succeeded.
And has not succeeded.
So shouldn't conservatives call attention to that?
Well, this is one conservative who does it. I go around the country speaking to this problem. We still have many, many problems that laws have been passed to correct, and they haven't been corrected.
And they still haven't been corrected. Think about it. They passed laws since the 60s. Since the 60s, and none of these laws have worked. None of these policies have worked. None of these civil rights acts have worked. It gave people rights, but you could have gave people them rights without putting the Civil Rights Act name on it, right? And making it seem like it was really something. Right? You could have said, okay, fuck it, we're gonna pass it, let it go, right? Let them vote. Right? Oh, it's a civil rights and black people you wanted to make a big ass spectacle out of it. But what did it change? Not a damn thing. Just like when you say, oh, black people can vote, but we're gonna implement these laws so black people can't vote. What did it change? Not a damn thing.
The FBI is one of our premier institutions, but it can be corrupted if it is used for political purposes. And that, it seems to me, makes what Mr. Barr suggested quite possible, given the background, given the history. We know what has happened in the past.
And we know it's happened in the future, right? Because if it happened to Barry Goldwater and nobody done nothing about it, it happened to Donald Trump. And guess what? Nobody done nothing about it. Because guess what? The communists are working together, right? And they have an agenda, right? It is a cold communist party. Every communist society in the world have failed, and it's to make the rich richer and the poor poor. What do you think is happening right now? Right? I just done a show earlier today when they was talking about people are buying up the housing on the housing market, right? People, you got the FTX people, you know what I'm saying, getting billions of dollars out of people, right? You got people losing jobs. You got people losing Fortune 500 companies laying off people. Right, you got the rich getting richer, right? And look at Kanye, right? He don't say the right shit. They're gonna break his ass. The rich getting richer and the poor staying poor.
And made Ellen do the very same thing. We, with our teeth gritted, then engaged in a mock debate. It was the beginning of what an education should do.
I'd love to run against her. I'd also love to run against the communists. I never thought so.
Now, of course, the minute you begin to think along these lines, you'll become the target of a whole barrage of attacks. You'll be called a right-wing extremist, a fascist, or at least a dictator.
Huh? Donald Trump got called all of them. Huh? If you fight against fascism, if you fight against communism, right? You fight against communism and you love America, you fight for your country, you're gonna be called a white supremacy, a Nazi, and all that. This is 60 years ago. How is this so relevant today when it should happen over 60 years ago? How is he speaking today's language? This is everything. Everybody that's in this chat that's white been called every one of these names he just said. And he said he was going to get called 60 years ago. Every one of you been called a racist. You've been called a white supremacist, right? Every person, sometimes direct, sometimes in a group. You've been called dumb. You've been said you part of a cult, right? You saying you don't like, you hate immigrants, right? That you don't care about women's lives. You don't care about black people's lives. You don't care about democracy, right? The Democrats say some of the white people that's watching this video right now are some of the most evil people on the fucking face of the earth, according to them. Right, because you related to a certain person and you follow his belief and his policies, right, and his ideologies, right. You are just as dangerous as him. So you're a white supremacy, you are a Nazi, you're an instigator, right. You are a terrorist. You are all of that. Everything he just said. Every white person in here is all of that, according to liberals. Disclaimer, YouTube. I didn't call no white people crazy, no shit like that, right? I'm just making a point, YouTube. Because you know YouTube will block some of a bitch quick, right? This is an educational video, YouTube. I keep on saying that, and you keep on flagging me. This is an education video.
To run against the communists. I never thought so.
Now, of course, the minute you begin to think along these lines, you'll become the target of a whole barrage of attacks. You'll be called a right-wing extremist, a fascist, or at least a dictator.
Is what we described. And the first person that was called an extremist was Barry Goldwater. He made a speech say, fighting for democracy is not a vice. I don't want to say the rest before YouTube say something.
In that report, monitoring internet traffic, is that spying?
Again, I can't speak to that report. I refer you to the Department of Justice.
Some years ago, I happened to attend a meeting where several anti-communist refugees from behind the Iron Curtain were called upon to relate their personal experiences. One of the refugees spoke up and he said, "You know, I came to America expecting to find a nation of free men, but instead, I find exactly the same thing. Everywhere I look, I see men and women who know that communists are making headway in this country. They know that something must be done and that someone must stand up to them."
I noticed.
Right? Did you hear that? Someone must stand up to them, right? It can't be no one person. It has to be a group of people standing up to these people, right? It can't be no one person, right? And just like the Democrats do, think about this, right? We have to adapt and do what the Democrats do, no matter what we say, right? If they say ballot harvesting is legal and early voting is legal, we got to do this shit, right? We got to support our people the way they support our people, right? We got to send out our message like they send out their message, right? We got to stand behind our policies. We got to stick together. We got to be a united front like that. Even though they got a fucked up vision and fucked up policies and fucked up theories, they still, right, stick by each other. They still united on certain fronts, right? Even though their policies are messed up, they still say we are one. We need to have that same thing. Even though we need to show the actions, right? We need to show that, hey, y'all not gonna outspend us. Y'all not gonna video us. You're not gonna out talk us, right? You're not gonna out policy us, right? Because if it happens, they win. There's no tie in this game, right? It's no tie like, okay, we both even. Either we win or we lose, right? Either they gonna win or they gonna lose. Either democracy gonna win or it's gonna lose. Either it's gonna be a communist country or it ain't. It's no middle. It's not gonna be a half a communist country because we already have a lot of different social programs. Social Security is a social program. Child care and all kind of stuff. You got a lot of social programs, right? But we're not a socialist country, right? And because a socialist country is really a communist country, it put a whole different spin on everything. But we slowly going towards a communist country. And this saying, hey, I don't want to be a communist, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that if something happens. No, you're not. Right? Because you remember how many Democrats said if Donald Trump wins, I'm going to move to Mexico. No, you're not. If Joe Biden try to take my gun, I'm going to do this. No, you're not. If he try to come in my house and do this and do that, I'm going. No, you're not. You can say all that shit, but no, you're not. They're going to have more guns. They're going to have more power, and they're going to have bigger threats. Because they're not going to threaten you, they're going to threaten your kids. And if somebody tell you to put down your gun, or else I got your kid, guess what? All that shit you done talked about is going right out the door because you're going to protect your kids before you protect yourself. They know who to go after. They're going after your damn kids. Huh? Why you think in America, right? America is the only country in the world, Craig, that you have no power over your kids, right? That your kids can get sex changes. They can do this and go here and go there and go to court. This is the only country that does that. That say, as a parent, you can't beat your kid like you want to, right? You can't do anything. You can't teach your kid like you want to, right? You can't feed your kid like you want. You can't do shit to your kid unless it's with our permission. America is the only country that does that. Only communism.
In the paper just the other day that speaking of the problems of the Negro, that Martin Luther King complained that the federal government was not doing what it should. I must agree with Martin Luther King.
The Negro. I must agree with the Negro. Do you hear Barry Goldwater saying, I agree with the Negro? Because guess what? The Negro is right. The federal government is not protecting black people. And I don't know how many times or how many people got to tell you this, because I tell you this, Martin Luther King tell you this, Donald Trump tell you this, and you're still not listening. You're still listening to the Democratic Party saying, we got your back, we're going to take care of you.
But they themselves do nothing. They remain silent because they're afraid that if they speak out or take a stand publicly.
Hey, look, this is so cold. He pulling out of Kanye West. This is the same thing Kanye West say, right? I'm telling you, nothing new. That's why I love history, right? Because you know history, you see shit coming, right? I know shit coming, right? I know where the country is going because I know what's been and I know what's at. That's why I love history. History repeats itself, right? You don't think this whole planet can get blew off the map with a nuclear war and we can go out like the dinosaurs did? With, you know what I'm saying? The same way, but with a different way. You know what I'm saying? A different pattern. We can have the same extinction that the dinosaurs had, but it can be self-induced, right? Water, exploding, fires, famine, all that old stuff. We can die the same way the dinosaurs done. I think, matter of fact, that's the way we're gonna go. Ain't nothing new happening up under the sun. Remember, the Wuhan happened before. Remember, back in the 1900s, everything happened before. Inflation happened before, right? Everything happened before. Right, the right to vote, taken away, rights taken away, racism, police, everything you can name already happened. It's in history books. You experienced some of it. You saw some of it. You read about some of it. You wrote about some of it. You videotaped some of it. You recorded some of it. You wrote some of it down. Come on. You learned about some of it in high school. Everything that's been done or is happening right now has been done before. That's why people know about history, know when shit about to come, right? That's like even history and game banging, right? If I go down a certain street and I get my ass shot at going down that street, well, my history tells me don't go down that street or you gonna get your ass shot at. The person who don't have that history or have that experience gonna go down that street and get his ass shot at. Right? But you having history and you learning from your history, right? And you experiencing that history and you know your history, you know not to walk your ass down that street because you know the result and you know what's coming. When you see somebody walking down the street, you're, oh, that person probably gonna get shot. So guess what? You studied your history and don't nothing new come up under the sun. That's why when somebody go to jail or somebody gang banging, right, and somebody get killed or something like that, so happen to be, right, gang bangers don't get mad because they knew from history what was going to happen. They always say, hey, man, you gonna die or go to jail. Well, that's the two options. Or you can quit, but then the two options. So when somebody die or go to jail, okay, from experience, I'm not too mad or upset, even though I was the homie, but I knew it was coming because guess what? It's a history of this shit. It's gonna be another homie next week. Hell, it could be me. But history shows that this shit is gonna happen again. That's why when you're good at history, you can know this shit. That's why everything I see now with Donald Trump, with Joe Biden, with Barack Obama, I don't give a damn who it is. I always can draw back on history, right? And update it because, like I say, history was my favorite topic because of my teacher, Mr. Crabcheck, right? It was my favorite topic in high school. So I used to be on my history. That's why everything I'm here right now. It just remind me of a certain incident, a certain person, right? A certain topic, right? A certain era, right? It's like, oh, I remember this shit happened. And it's easy for me. That's why I always make videos that got historical backgrounds so you can know the history and know history don't change. And nothing happens up under the sun, right? And how long things been happening, how long people been lying, right? And how things have not changed or how things have changed, right? But you have to know the history. It's like a movie. You can't watch part 2 without watching part 1. You got to watch part 1 to know what the fuck going on, right? You got to watch all the movie. You can't watch half of it. And then say, "Oh, I know everything about the next." No, you gotta watch the whole movie. Then you know what the next movie about. You know all the characters. You know all the players. You know the screenwriter. You know the director. You know the back. You know everything about it because you experienced it. That's why I'm so good at this shit, because I know all this shit. I just study this shit. Study your history.
It'll be.
Why you think Kanye West and all the other people, right? What they fighting over right now? What's the main thing they fighting over? They fighting over history and the truth. Who from this land? Who these people? Who this nation is, right? Who this belongs to? They're fighting over history. If you know your history, you can know your present and you can know your future. If you don't know your history, which the Democrats trying to wipe out, you don't know who the fuck you are.
It'll be bad for business.
People will end up in different ways, but at least we were forced to actually examine deeply what we believed. We were forced to read opinions that were not the ones that we had already formed.
Right? So you was forced, because you was a Republican, you was forced to read racist material.
So after leaving Maine South, I went to Wellesley, still a Republican, but a different kind of attitude and a different sort of inquiry about what it was I believed.
Lord knows we have plenty of laws on the books to take care of violators of integration or segregation, whichever way you approach it. But is the Attorney General really using the muscle he has to stop the attacks on Negroes every place in this country?
They may lose a client. They may even lose their jobs. If communism should ever come to America, we'll face more death, destruction, and human suffering than any people in history has ever faced at the hands of their invading conquerors.
And I have to say no, that they're not.
Why?
Again, there's a political reason in the background someplace.
It's literally a question of life and death for all of us. And it's about time the American people began to face up to that fact and to act accordingly.
The end. Did you hear that, black, MAGA, and white people? You have to act accordingly, right? Because if we don't fight, right, you can't take the fight with you to the grave, right? You can't transfer the fight on over to your kids like, I'm going to be sick or I'm going to be dead, so I'm going to transfer all this fight. I'm going to write you a will or donate all this fight I have left over in me to you, right? No, when your ass is dead, when your ass is gone, when you don't have the ability to fight, your fight is over. One day your fight is going to be over. Everybody on here, one day your fight is going to be over. You're not going to be able to fight no more. So you better leave a legacy, or you better leave some breadcrumbs, right? Or you better try to contribute and say you helped, right? Because if you don't help, right, and if you don't take the fortitude to go ahead and help your kids and help your community and help and leave a legacy, right? That means your whole purpose on being here on Earth wasn't for shit. Because you're supposed to have changed Earth. You came down here for a reason, right? If you was a spirit, think about this. If you are from God and you are connected with God and you are one with God, right? That means your ultimate outcome is already determined. You are returning to God. Ain't no going to hell, and you ain't going into no alternate place. You're going from where you came. You are a source of energy, and that energy goes where it came from. It's like a car battery or any kind of battery. You put the battery in, and the car or the machine can do anything it wants to. It can move, it can turn, it can do all this old shit, right? Sometimes if you got a rechargeable battery, right, you can, if the battery dies, you can put it in the thing and it charge back up, right? But sooner or later, even that rechargeable battery is dead, right? That the rechargeable battery dies. So guess what? And when the battery dies, you can't put it in the toy no more. The toy ain't gonna play. It ain't gonna move. Right? It's dead. Just like we're going to be dead. Our battery is going to be gone one day, right? It's going to be gone out the toy. Our body is the toy, right? Sometimes the toy gonna break. Sometimes the toy gonna get old, right? Sometimes the toy is gonna be disabled, but the toy is never gonna be the same. At the end of the day, the toy will be dead. So what you gonna do? How you gonna play with that toy, or what that toy purpose is on Earth? Is it gonna make people happy? Is it gonna play games with people's life? Is it just gonna go through life just running and bouncing on walls? Is it gonna be controlled? Is it gonna be a toy that can talk for itself and do for itself and play with it by itself? Or gonna be a toy need to be controlled, need a hand stuck up in his ass so he can move and talk and do all those stuff? What kind of toy your body is? What kind of toy you are? What kind of battery do you got in that toy? Right? Is it a long-lasting battery? Is the battery fading out? Right? Is it a battery that don't belong inside the toy? Right? Is it a faulty battery? Right? What kind of battery is it? Is the battery too big? Is the battery too small? Right? Can the battery maintain? Is the battery programmed? Is it what kind of battery do you have in you? Do you know what kind of battery you have in you? Is you treating that battery right? Because one day you're going to be gone. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So what are you going to do to leave a legacy? What are you going to do to change the world? Right? Because if you die, you can't take that money with you. Right? I hear people like, I don't have no money to donate, right? Well, if your ass was to die tonight, you ain't gonna take that dollar, that $5, your ass gonna go to the grave broke. You gonna go to the grave broke. That's why I try to do stuff even when I don't do it on the regular, right? I try to do stuff. Go feed the homeless. Like I got a gang of sweaters and stuff that I make, right? I'm finna go down there probably sometime this week because there's a lot of cold weather out there. I'll probably go down there probably Tuesday whenever I go to my thing and get my sweaters. And it's gonna get about a gang of sweaters. I don't use no more, but I be seeing people downtown be having those shoes on, right? Be having those sweaters on, be sleeping on the cement, and my heart breaks. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to do something for them, but I'm only limited. I'm only one person, right? So I do what I can, right? And it satisfies me. I don't care if nobody sees me. I don't want no credit for it or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I put it on Instagram, sometimes I don't, but it makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I don't need no self gratification or anything like that. I go down every day. I film the video. I can put up today. I don't even put the shit on Facebook or Instagram. I be filming all kind of shit. I probably put it on Patreon one day, right? But I be filming all kind of men with titties and police arresting people with wheelchairs and all kind of shit. But I be filming all kind of shit, right? But I be down there, when I go down there, I be trying to help people, like one or two person, you know what I'm saying? Give a person a pair of socks or something, or go buy like 10 pairs of gloves or something for $1 and go hand out some gloves or something like that. I try to do something every day. I don't want no credit for it, right? But I know I can't take this money with me, right? And I wish I could do more, right? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I do more for other people than I do for myself, because I know in some kind of way God gonna bless me, right? And if you keep on, and if you up here, right, and you thinking like you're gonna be able to go around life and don't help nobody and you're gonna get some blessings, it's not gonna happen, right? What comes around goes around, and the energy you send out is the energy you get back, right? Only people. That's why certain people don't mind being philanthropists, right? And don't mind giving it out, right? Because they know they're gonna get it back, right? If you ain't never had shit, you're gonna hold on to shit, right? But if you are a naturally giving person, right, you're gonna give, right? Because you're gonna give with your heart, not with your pockets or your brain. You're gonna give because you care. You're not gonna give because you feel obligated. You're not gonna not give because, you know what I'm saying, I'm just gonna be here because I'm just here for the show, right? No one does that. That's not being a contributor. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here for the show. Well, you're not part of the fight. You're part of the problem, right? If you can't do anything for the cause, and like I say, it ain't gotta be financial, but you have to do something for the cause. If not, get your ass out the fight. There's no even need for your ass to watch this channel. If you're just gonna watch this channel for the jokes, right? If you're just gonna watch the channel for the entertainment, right? If you're gonna watch the channel because you want to chat, right, or you want to see something, this is not the channel for you. This is an action channel, right? You're supposed to take this energy, you're supposed to take this action, and you're supposed to do something with it. You ain't supposed to sit on it. It's not this information is not just for jokes. It's not just for fun. It's for educational purpose, like I tell you to. This is for educational purposes, right? I put it in the form of joke and comedy and shit like that, but this is not no jokes. This is not no comedy. This shit is real life out here. I just sugarcoat it for you, right? But if I was to do some stressed out videos and some fucked up videos about the same topics, I can get you way more word than you are right now. I can make you way more scared than you are right now, because these are not pretty topics. These are some fucked up topics I'm talking about. Right? So you're supposed to take this topic and run with it. If you're on this channel, right, and you're not doing nothing with the information, you're not teaching the information, you're not spreading the information, you need to get off this channel and just go to another comedy channel, another person channel that's got some bullshit and just want to entertain and stuff like that, because this is an action channel. Right? This channel is supposed to help people. This channel is supposed to educate people. This channel is supposed to inform people. This channel is not just for the laugh and joke. We can laugh and joke at the shit. We can laugh and joke while we spread the shit, but it's not just to laugh and joke and do nothing about it. Who does that? Who does that? Who gets the information, right? Who knows what's going on in the world, right? Who sees the stuff? Who knows about the stuff that's going on in the world and does nothing about it? You in the fucking way. Right? You're not part of it. You're sitting up there saying you're a patriot. You're sitting up there saying you this and you that, but you're not taking any action. Guess what? You only got a concept of what the fuck you are. You're not really that person. You're not a good person unless you do good things. You just have a concept of what a good person is. You're not a good person. Don't try to lie to yourself. Don't try to convince yourself. Right? Don't try to convince yourself you're a patriot. Don't try to convince yourself you this, because when it comes to the front line, you're going to sit your ass back. You're going to watch TV. You're not going to do nothing. Right? You're not going to say, well, I can't do nothing, right? I can't do nothing, but here goes soda for you so you can go do it. Here goes some water for you so you can help it out. No, you're going to sit your ass back and you're not going to do nothing. You're going to watch videos. You're going to complain, right? You're going to say you're a victim, but you're not going to do shit to get into the fight, because you don't want to risk shit. You don't want people to say nothing about it. You don't want your face to be seen. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to lose your channel. You don't want people to no. If that's who you are, be honest with yourself. Right? Be honest, because you can't help the cause. You can't help you can't help with the solution. And we can understand that, because this is not for everybody. But if you are consider yourself a patriot, if you are consider yourself a man or a woman that love this country, you have to fucking do something. You have to. Or support the people that's doing it. You have to. If not, like I say, right? If I'm not in a relationship, how can I say I'm a good man? I can say what I'm gonna do, or if I get a woman, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But if I ain't got no woman, I only got a perception of what kind of man I am, what kind of man I could be. Right? If you ain't doing nothing for the cause, you only got a perception of what American can be, or what American can do. You have all the ability, all the power, but you sit back on the sideline and do nothing while your country, right? The country that you lived in, the country that you benefit from, the country that you so-called love is going down a hellhole. You don't do nothing about immigration. You don't do nothing about homelessness. You don't do nothing about child poverty. You don't do nothing about education. You don't do nothing about racism, but you want to get your ass on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and text with your little Twitter fingers and shit, and talk about all the problems, all the stuff that's going wrong, and all the people that's doing this and all the people ain't doing that, but you don't want to do nothing about it your damn self. Are you a patriot? Are you? Right? Or are you just one of these other people, right, that just like to sit back and look and window shop and shit like that? Which one are you? Are you in it or are you not? If you're not in it, go watch Go watch plenty a liberal channel. Go watch. Am I still on? They still got me on. Make sure I ain't blocked because I'm saying, okay. I'm still on. They still got me on. Yeah. If you not with it, right? It's plenty. Everybody got a role to play. Know your role because this fight right here, we don't have time um to have people that's not with the cause or not going to support or not going to be part of it in the way, right? Because you in the way. Let you get out the way and let somebody else going to do something get in, right? If you're not going to do nothing because they're about action, right? You fuck with one of them, they're gonna be coming to your door. They're gonna be protesting. They're gonna be outside of your business. They're gonna be calling your house. You know what I'm saying? And then they're gonna put the money behind it. You know what I'm saying? To support their people that get locked up. Support their people to eat. To support their people to travel and all of that. We got to do the same shit. It's like we conservative. We can't be like okay, well, I'm only gonna support this cause or I'm gonna support this when I feel like it. I'm gonna support. No, you got to support something all the time because, like I say, the country. If you lose the country, right, you ain't gonna have what you think you got anyway. Look at how high the fucking gas going up. Look how high the food going up. Look at everything you thought you was gonna have, right, and dealing with this country. Look at everything you thought you was gonna save up, right? Dealing with this country or dealing with the people in power, right? Have you done it? Have they allowed you to? You think they're gonna allow you to? You think when Bitcoin or Fed coin or whatever it comes, right? You think they're gonna allow you to keep the money? Right? Then you're gonna wish that you supported a voice. Then you're gonna wish you stood behind somebody that could send a message that warned people and educated people and stuff like that. But it's gonna be too late then. So you better start supporting now. You know what I'm saying? You better start supporting now, right? If you can give, you can. If you can't give, you got to do something, right? You have to do something. Like I say, for me, right? What I can do a lot with a little, right? But it's on here, right? It's if I have to complain, right? And I'm giving out the message, I'm doing the videos, I'm doing the research. I only wonder what other conservatives got to go through to get their message out. You mean I got to fight the liberals to get the message out and the conservatives? Come on, that's like Donald Trump. Why do I gotta fight the liberals and the conservatives? The conservatives are supposed to be supporting me. I shouldn't be fighting the conservatives to get a donation so I can do the video to promote conservatism. That's backwards. The only person I should be fighting with is the liberals. I shouldn't be fighting with the conservatives and say, look, man, I want to get this message out for our people. How does that sound? That do they even sound? Look. I need to get donations out. I need help with the donations out to get out because I need help delivering the message that you probably want to hear, that you probably want to share. I need help. Do that even sound right? Think about it. You think I'm going to ask somebody helping me? They're going to have to ask for help. Hey, you helping me? Paint my house or clean my house. You ain't have to ask me for nothing to eat or nothing to smoke. Here goes some weed. Here goes some alcohol. Here goes some money. You helping me do something I need. Right? But you can't get up here and say, look, man, I'm helping you. I'm going to help the cause, but I need help helping. Does that make sense? No, I shouldn't even have to. Should nobody who out there putting their neck out or doing anything like a basketball player, musician, anybody who putting their neck and their life on the line, anybody, they shouldn't have to say, you know what? I'm doing this for you, but I need help. So I can do it for you. Huh? You mean to tell me I need help spreading the information about freedom? I need help spreading information about democracy? I need help spreading information about politics and the MAGA message and all. You mean to tell me I need why do I need help doing that? I shouldn't need no help. I should be able to spread that shit, right? I should be able to do the research. I should be able to tell the truth. I should be able to do lies. I should be able to spread the message without even asking for help. I should automatically get it because y'all know it's for the cause, right? The liberals do it. They do it all the time. Other channels do it. They do it all the time. Go look at Officer Tatum channel, right? He don't have no message. He don't have no strong message, and he's in a box. And he only can talk about certain things. I can talk about everything, and I do talk about everything, and I got a stronger message. But I don't see that nigga asking, "Hey man, I need helping this channel so I can help the people." Who does that? Right? So I'm not just talking about me. Like I say, I ain't gonna lie, I need donations like everybody else. I just got my car broke into. Shit. Outside. I mean, I just got my car. People done, I ought to take you outside and let you see my car right now. People fucked up my car because I'm in a neighborhood. I don't want to say it out loud. I'm in a neighborhood, right? I'm in a neighborhood where I'm not the hot top. I'm probably the only black male over here, right? And I got a business. I don't fuck with nobody, right? You know what I'm saying? Somebody racist, they fucked my car up. I got to get a whole nother car. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm doing donations to get me a whole nother car because as the predicament I'm in, right? I'm a victim of my environment. I can't run to the police. I can't tell the police, "Hey man, they broke in my car and they done this to my car." So I can't do that because I'm trapped in the place. If I do some shit like that, I'm gone. I know what's gonna happen. I'm in a place where I can't defend myself. So I'm gonna save up my money, get me a new car, and I'm moving the first thing next year. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. This is the last thing because I feel trapped. I can't do nothing. I'm consistently getting robbed and my car's getting stolen. It's the second car that got stolen and done something too. I can't keep affording that shit. People trying to break him out. I can't keep affording that shit. I have to go somewhere where I feel comfortable, or at least I'm not the only black person around, or I can't be targeted. Right? I have to go somewhere else because I'm being targeted here. I don't complain. I don't do none of that shit, right? I mean, certain people know about the situation and shit like that, but I don't get on TV or Instagram and nothing and complain. No, I get on here and make you motherfuckers laugh. No matter what's happening to me out there. I don't tell you about my kids. I don't tell you about my grandson. I don't tell you what I can do. I don't tell you what I can't do. All I do is get my ass on here and perform. Right? I give the message. And that's what a true patriot does, right? He does things, he sacrifices. Some things I sacrifice. I can't sacrifice all the time. That's why sometimes I'm missing. Right? But we got to understand, we have to be able to protect the message. We got to be able to help the people that's helping the cause, right? Because one day my message, my channel will come back, right? My channel will come back eventually, right? That's why I start doing all these videos, promote myself. My channel will come back. My message will get bigger, right? My message will be heard, right? But it's I shouldn't have to ask for help to get the message across. Look at my donations. The same people who donate have to get the same people the shout outs every time because the same people donate. Look at this chat. You mean only certain people care about democracy? Only certain people care about the country? Only certain people care about getting this message across? And like I said, it is not me, right? If you don't support me, if this message is making you mad, you know what I'm saying? Go support another conservative. As long as you support somebody that's supporting the cause, go support a pro-life center, right? Go support a homeless center. Go support a little kid getting a start. Go support something. If you can't support me, go support something. Get mad at me and go support something else. But as long as you support something. And you're not on here just for the laugh and the joking and all that shit. You're on here for the right reason, the right cause. If you're not, this is the wrong channel for you. And let me be about it. I've been on here too much. I've been on here too long, you know what I'm saying? But if you want these videos to keep on coming, like I said, I got a lot of videos coming, right? But just like anybody else or anything else, right? I need financial support. I need financial help, right? Just like anybody else. Just like Herschel Walker, just like Donald Trump, just like Raphael Warnock, just like Ron DeSantos. I need help so I can help you or promote or fight for the cause, just like anybody else. And it don't take that much. So let me get up out of here. Hopefully, y'all can come up with donations. My link and my video description and all that is in the link, right? And go to my other channel, right? I'm going to be releasing about 4 or 5 videos tomorrow. A couple of them going to be short videos. One of them going to be a long video. I'm going to get off here and put 2 more clips up on my other channel, Black Rosebud, right now. You know what I'm saying? And tomorrow, I'm going to do another live on my Patreon, you know what I'm saying, about the Wuhan, about the Chinese lockdown and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I want to do a video on that, but I can't do it on YouTube. I'm going to have to go on Patreon. Like I said, if I get the donations, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to announce it on YouTube. And I'll tell everybody to go on Patreon so you know exactly when I'm doing the video. If you want to go on, not Patreon, I mean Rumble. So if you want to go on Rumble and see it, I'm going to do the shit on here, right? And I'm going to go on Rumble if you want to complete the live video, because like I say, I'm going to say some things and I saw some stuff that I want to research that I cannot put on YouTube because I know they will flag me, because they know what I'm going, you know what I'm going to talk about, you know where I'm for to blame, and you know where I'm for to go. I only can do this type of show on Rumble. That's why I'm glad I got 2 sites. I want to do this show, but I'm only can do it on Rumble. So tomorrow I'll probably do a live chat or call in, or probably go on Rumble. It depends on the donation. It's up to you. And I'm out. Somebody, look at that. Who's that? Who was that sending a donation? Stoney? Stoney got the message. Who was that sending another donation? Somebody else? You mean all that talking I've done and only Stoney sent a donation? Come on. Somebody got to be loving a nigga more than that. Stoney can't be the only person up in here to love me. Stoney Twin Flames Tarot. That's like a carrot card, a card reading or something. But Stormy can't be the only person. Stormy can't be the only person on here that love a nigga. Huh? Look at the whole video. Go back and see this whole video worth a couple of chains, anything like that, right? Some chains. I'm out. Donate to the cause. I don't stop doing this, son of a bitch. I don't stop making these motherfuckers. I'm out.